Good evening, warm welcome to the program. So with this, we are going to start program on warehousing and inventory management. This is one of the important subdomain in supply chain management, whether you are at a entry level or mid level or senior level. Managing warehouse and inventory in an effective way provides you a path for your career. Even if you are a fresher or a college student for entering into supply chain, knowing the concepts of warehouse and inventory is going to provide you a career path or even make an entry into supply chain field. Now with the growth of e-commerce and q-commerce platform, warehousing and inventory management plays a very important role. So this is a YouTube live program. It is not available in any other media. You are always welcome to chat when we are doing the live program, and you are welcome to ask questions. On the other hand, if you are watching it on a offline mode, also you are welcome to comment in the chat section so that we can come back to you. So let us start the program. Briefly, let me introduce myself. Let me attach the screen. So welcome again. Let me briefly introduce myself before starting the program on warehouse and inventory management. Now the plan is we are going to have a weekly episode on a Tuesday evening between 6 to 7 p.m. Indian time. So wherever you are welcome to watch the program online and chat in the box if you need any doubts or clarification. So let me add the screen. So hope you are able to see the screen and also hear my voice clear. My name is Pattabhiraman. This is my LinkedIn profile. You are always welcome to connect or follow me. I am searchable by the keyword supply chain master in LinkedIn. I am also available in Udemy. I have more than 2,500 candidates enrolled for my various supply chain programs. Coming to my background, I am an engineer with a post-graduation degree in management and data science. I have been working in a large multinational organization for nearly 2.5 decades, and I have handled each of the subdomain in supply chain at various level. So warehousing and inventory management was part of my career. In the last 10 years in this organization, I was at the end-to-end supply chain management. I am the CEO of the organization known as Thoughtware Training Private Limited. As far as my certification are concerned, these are certification provided by ASCM APITS. So if you are in the warehouse function, you need to take any of the certification if you are looking for a job in any multinational organization, because they are going to look for and it is very important when you are in the job market. I also have a certification from similar organization based in US called DDI, Demand Driven Institute. They provide similar certification like DDPP, means a demand driven planner professional. I am also a certified purchasing manager apart from project management professional. I am qualified in analytics. Coming to our organization, we are based in Bangalore, 5-year-old organization. We provide both consulting and training in the field of supply chain, logistic, and purchasing. And one of our most popular program is supply chain analytics. We operate under the brand name Expert SCM. So as you see on the screen, we provide training and also mock test for global certification program apart from various live and recorded program. You are always welcome to reach to me or our executive using the WhatsApp number given here. So with this, let me start the program on warehouse management. We will be having nearly 10 to 12 sessions on warehouse management and possibly 3 to 4 sessions on physical inventory management. Today I am going to see a basic introduction on warehouse management, but all this will be of a global standard. So even if you are at a mid or senior level, I request you to watch the program, subscribe the channel, and it's going to be really beneficial to you. Let me attach the screen. Welcome again. So I have taken the material for this program from various references apart from my practical experience. So, but in any case, you are welcome to take any of these references. These are recommended by the global organizations, and you will find excellent content from these materials. Maybe you can note down. One is from Richards. The name of the title of the book is Warehouse Management. The second one is Excellence in Warehouse Management from Emmett. And third one is the Warehouse Management Handbook from these two gentlemen, Topkins and Smith. I think this book should be now available online through any of the online media like Amazon or Walmart or Flipkart, and these are really good books. Coming to the introduction, warehouse is a temporary place for storing inventory. Of course, you have to assume that it's not a permanent place for storing anything because the item should come and go. Maybe some value added activity may take place in the warehouse. That's where we need to store the item temporarily. It is going to serve as a buffer in the supply chain, matching the product availability customer demand. So there are a lot of fluctuation one side on the customer and the other side on the supplier. So this storage place is going to act as a buffer where we are going to store some extra material apart from the cycle stock. The next function is to facilitate movement of goods from suppliers to customer. So sometime it may directly go to supplier to customer, but most practical way is to go through a warehouse because there you can do some value addition, including consolidation, deconsolidation kind of a work in warehouse, meeting demand in a timely and cost effective manner. Of course, the main purpose of warehouse is to provide customer service level and that's where we need to have these warehouses near to the customer and keep all the item required by the customer, so that when there is order, you are able to provide them quickly to the customer. But you may see, by having a warehouse, we will be doing lot of trade-off. Trade-off means when you increase the number of warehouses, of course you are going to increase the cost. The cost can be in the form of warehouse renting or lease cost. It could be operating people cost, even the material handling cost. But on the other hand, you are going to improve the customer service level. But by end of the day, are you going to recover all this money what you are spending is the point in the warehouse operation. So you may also come under pressure to reduce the cost, improve the speed, and provide a better service to the customer all at the same time. That's where we are talking about trade-off. Meanwhile, anyone watching live on the stream are welcome to comment if you have any queries. So one is cost versus service. What is the cost of operating this warehouse, and the cost of providing that service to the customer? Is the customer is willing to provide such a service? Second one is storage capacity versus speed of retrieval. We will have a pressure to occupy the warehouse 100%, but if you occupy all the space inside the warehouse, both vertically and horizontally, then retrieving the item becomes a problem. We have to use material handling equipment or forklift, but in such case, the ideal warehouse space occupation could be 85 or 90%, because safety could also be a big concern here. So this is a trade-off which a warehouse executive has to handle it. Coming to speed versus accuracy, always there is a pressure on increasing the speed, thereby reducing the time for delivery, but it should not compromise on the accuracy of the operation. Okay, we need to maintain all this parallels. Okay, everything should happen simultaneously. Inventory versus availability, which means you should make sure that all the inventory is available, but at the same time minimum of inventory. Here we call that as a inventory optimization. And efficiency versus responsiveness. Okay, efficiency means whatever cost of operation should be minimum, but the response should be high. So you can see each one of this is a conflicting area. This is where you need a warehouse expertise to handle such a situation, especially if you are from a mid or senior level, you might be facing these kind of issues. Okay, and of course, in our program, we are going to see in the form of supervisor or executive level and managerial level quality of education, and this is where you are going to face these kind of issues, and you should be in a position to handle this trade-off or conflict. The next one is volume purchases versus storage cost and availability. Purchasing want to buy a huge quantity because of discount. At the same time, you need to have the space availability, and you have to take care of storage costs. So these are the trade-off which, as a store warehouse executive, you must handle it. In the same time, you should also know the difference between store and warehouse. A store is a place which is attached to a manufacturing plant. Possibly it's inside the plant. Warehouse is something which is outside the manufacturing plant. But whatever concept we are going to discuss in the program is are equally applicable both to store and warehouse. Of course, warehouse can also be called as distribution center, or it can also be called as fulfillment center in case of e-commerce platform. We are all going to see all the functions process involved in these kind of warehouses by whatever name it is called. Coming to the challenges in warehouse management is improving efficiency and productivity whilst reducing the cost. Somewhat it is input from our previous slide. You have to show both this efficiency and productivity at the same time, less cost, improving quality and accuracy, especially if you are in the mid or senior level. You may be already facing this kind of issue, and we are going to see the tools and techniques how to handle these kind of challenges in the warehouse management. Reduce lead time from customer. Now this is one of the biggest challenge, especially when we talk about e-commerce and q-commerce. The customer, as soon as they make a payment or um, make a payment, they are expecting delivery. There was a query from Loganathan, request you to save and upload this video in your channel. Of course, you have to understand whatever live programs are there in the YouTube is automatically saved in our channel. So even you can watch this video offline. So that is always possible. Coming to the next challenge, technological advancement, maybe in the form of tracking or data capture, like for example, RFID or IoT, or even software like WMS, TMS, all this are coming into operation. Workforce availability, one more biggest challenge nowadays is the people don't want to work in a warehouse. Of course they are happy to work in a completely automated warehouse, which is available in western countries, but in India, due to labor cost less, more of manual work, so we don't go for full scale automation. So you may have a working environment which is more of a physical in our work environment. So that could be one reason where people do not want to work in the warehouse kind of environment. And the warehouse environment always comes with the health and safety. Especially safety is the biggest constraint, because you have a moving objects like forklift, and we are going to also load or save the load higher levels. Maybe sometime you may see the warehouse occupying 10 meters, 12 meters height. So the safety is of important issue. So these are some of the few important challenges. Now, one more growing problem is how do you manage the environmental concern? One could be noise, maybe due to warehouse operation, or the vehicle coming in and going out. Maybe we are doing packing, unpacking. So there is a if there is a community surrounding this warehouse, then you should see how you can minimize the noise. When it comes to pollution, one of the important thing is the pollutant from the vehicles, or even if you are using a generator set, then that could be a nuisance to the surrounding. Apart from that, we use a lot of packaging material. It could be wood or cardboard or paper material. So the disposal of such a thing could also be a serious concern. So these are the challenges which, as a warehouse executive, we need to handle it effectively. As far as the basic requirement of warehouse, we need to meet these 7 R's of supply chain. For example, we need to provide the right product to in right quantity to the right customer in the right place at the right time at the right condition, right price. So most of this are relevant to warehouse operation. Of course, price, possibly you may have to minimize the warehousing cost or even dispatch cost. Right condition, here we are talking about without any damage to the product. And the packaging is one of the integral activity for warehouse. So you need to ensure that the product is packed in a right condition and reaches the customer in the right condition. Right time means it's more related towards transportation factor. At a right place, maybe you have to make a right documentation. Your invoice should be as per the order, because many times the customer may have their location at multiple place, but they might have asked you to deliver a particular order to a particular location. So you should ensure that the item is going to a particular place, and of course to the right customer. And quantity is one more big issue in the warehouse operation, especially in B2B environment. If you have multiple item has to be picked, and different items have a different quantity, and really it's challenging to count each of this item. Okay. And right product is also one important thing, because in the warehouse operation we use mostly unskilled operators for most of the things. You may see, to reduce the cost, we will be employing 3 APLs, and they may employ unskilled operators to save the cost. But at the same time, you may have to see that all the operation, it starts from counting at the receiving stage, putting the item in the right location, and when the order has come, they have to pick the right product and pack in right quantity and dispatch. All this becomes a real challenge if you do not understand the logic and techniques which can be employed to improve this process. And coming to the role of warehouse, of course, raw material storage is primary in case of stores. If in the B2B environment and manufacturing environment, possibly in the same stores, we are going to store something like an intermediate, postponement, customization, or sub-assembly feasibility. Here, possibly the postponement and customization item could be shifted near to the customer, so there it could be a warehouse location, whereas intermediate and sub-assembly can be near to the manufacturing plant. Finished goods storage can be either in the stores or warehouse. In the stores, it is waiting for dispatch or customer order. And finally, in the warehouse, we are going to store the finished goods for providing better service. Then, the distribution center or fulfillment center are going to serve as a consolidation center. Means you are going to get the material from different manufacturer, and you are going to consolidate as per the customer order and send it in a single vehicle. Sometimes they can also serve as a transit warehouse, because you are waiting for some order or some vehicle, so the item can be waiting there. Transshipment is a different thing. Possibly, when you are dispatching item for a longer distance, there may not be direct vehicle. So it may go to a terminal where it can stay for some time till they have some other connecting vehicle. So the warehouse can serve this purpose. Break bulk is something opposite to consolidation. Here you may be getting in a truckload from the supplier, and you are splitting that into smaller portion to various customer. So you can see a lot of value added activity is taking place in the warehouse. And nowadays, most of the e-commerce platform, they perform the activity of cross dock centers. Okay, this is prevalent for a long time, but for this to operate successfully, you need a technology, and you need also partnership with the supplier and the customer, because in cross dock arrangement, we will only have a platform, and we are only going to connect the incoming vehicle goods to the vehicle outgoing vehicles, and along with the related order. We are not going to store any inventory, and this is becoming popular, that you are not going to store any inventory. So cross dock centers is becoming popular nowadays. Of course, warehouse can also serve as a sortation center. So, like a post office, you may do some kind of sortation. And fulfillment center, specifically, we are talking in terms of e-commerce platform where you do further value addition. Value addition could be in the form of labeling or kitting or packing. So all such activity can take place in this kind of environment. Of course, over watching, if you have any doubts, you are always welcome to type in the or chat in the box. Okay, and one more important activity which is more relevant to e-commerce platform is reverse logistics center. In fact, this is gaining popularity nowadays, especially with the e-commerce platforms getting back the item up to the extent of 30%, 40% item are returned. In the traditional kind of warehouse, it may not be so high, it could be to the level of just 3 or 4%, but in e-commerce it is very huge, and possibly you cannot use the same logistic or supply chain in the forward and reverse logistic. So you should know the process how to handle reverse logistics center. Of course, we will dedicate our future session for each one of this activity, and we will keep discussing. Meanwhile, if you have any doubts, you are welcome to contact us. And the Q-commerce is one of the growing area. Q-commerce is what a improved form of e-commerce. E-commerce, even if you are a prime customer in Amazon or Walmart, you are going to get a delivery in a day's time. But in Q-commerce, these platforms are promising delivery less than 30 minutes, and that's growing in popular, especially in India. So you should be prepared to know what are the process, because for making 1 day delivery the process is different, 10 minutes delivery the process is different. In fact, the warehouse management and inventory management will be totally different in this kind of environment. Okay. Now the question comes: why do we hold the stock? Why we are keeping inventory? Like a cross dock, you get the item and keep sending it. Get the item, keep sending it. Okay, but we have a lot of other issues like uncertain and erratic demand patterns. We really don't know, even with a lot of sophisticated forecasting technique, we are not sure which order, which customer, what quantity, when we are going to get. So there is a lot of struggle for most of the organization, but very few organization are very lucky that their order book may be full. But I feel in the current environment, 90% of the organization, they face this situation where there is a uncertain demand, trade-off between transport and shipping cost. Many times we get in a full truck, so we need to keep this item for some period, in the to save either purchase discount or transportation discount. We may be getting in a larger quantity than required in the immediate future. That's where we need to hold the stock. It's more related with the discount or bulk buying. Okay, it could be due to purchase or even a transportation, the purchasing saving, cost saving. Next important function the warehouse could serve is near to the end customer. This is one of the important thing, because if you want to serve the customer at the lowest possible time, you need to be near to the customer. Okay, you might have seen the Walmart or Amazon. They have this distribution center across all the major cities, and whenever you place an order, they are going to link up that particular material with the nearest warehouse to you, so that you are getting the item in a few days time. But in the q-commerce scenario, possibly these warehouses may be in every zip code area inside the city. Maybe we call that as a micro warehouse, and that is growing in popular. And cover for production shutdown. Maybe sometime you may face this kind of situation in a manufacturing environment. For example, they may go for a maintenance shutdown or a holiday, like in Western country, they shut down for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but customer will not sleep. He needs the item. Okay, possibly there can also be some labor trouble, so that's where there could be some disturbance. Okay, ability to increase the production run, so you can support increasing the efficiency of production by always providing the necessary raw material. Okay, also the function of warehouse is to manage a seasonal production. Many products are seasonal in nature. So if you are making use of level production strategy, possibly you are doing it in off season for seasonal requirement. So you need to store this item for some period of time till it is sold. Spare part storage here, if you are capital intensive industry, then you need to have some critical spares stored within your premises. So that's also a part of warehouse. Investment stock, but not all the organization does it. Possibly e-commerce platform does it. When we say investment stock means increase in value the longer they are held in storage. It may not be directly hoarding, but there are some material. For example, when you take wine or some alcoholic beverage, the more time it stays, the value of the product is going to increase. Possibly that could be one of the investment stock. Document storage, of course, we are not much bothered about document storage in the warehouse as a supply chain professional, but now all these documents are available in the e-format, so that's not of a great concern nowadays. Coming to the warehouse location, one is we saw earlier that this warehouses must be near to the customer. At the same time, you are trying to minimize the cost of operation. So possibly these warehouses may be located outside the urban area. Then you may face other problem like the employee availability or the travel time and other infrastructure connectivity to the road or rail or sea location. All this has to be decided. Okay, this could be one of the important tasks for warehouse manager. Okay, there are a lot of factors influencing the warehouse location, like cost of the land, rent or leasing, access to transportation network, whether it's near to some highway or railway lines or seaport, availability of affordable skilled labor. This becomes important, especially for most of the warehouse. If you are planning to keep outside the urban area, proximity to port, of course, when you want to operate in coastal areas, availability of funding and grants. This is also important because even in India, you may have some facility or grants or incentive provided by the government to facilitate the trade. So you may have to check such a incentive, and in such case, you may not have a say in the warehouse location, and you may have to go for the location provided by the government authorities. Of course, water and power is also important factors in this. Coming to number of warehouses, of course, this we are going to see as a part of whole warehouse network design, or even you can call it as a logistic network or supply chain network design. This depends on number of factors. Of course, it's a trade-off. One is you have to provide a better service. On the other hand, you have to spend money. Okay, most costs will be higher if multiple warehouses are chosen. However, all of this cost can be offset by significant reduction in local transportation cost and improved service. Okay. One of the main benefit of having a warehouse near to the customer is to provide better service, and possibly you are also going to reduce some transportation cost. Of course, you have to break this transportation cost into two figures. That is, one is inbound cost and outbound cost. When you are going to have more number of warehouse, then inbound cost is going to increase, whereas outbound cost is going to decrease. On the other hand, there are studies made that when you increase the number of warehouses, the overall transportation cost is going to come down. You can see in this comparison between many warehouses and less number of warehouses, inventory cost is going to be more if you are going to increase the warehouses. Customer reaction time or customer service level will be higher if you have more warehouses. Facility cost is going to increase. Inbound transportation cost also going to increase. These some of these things are common sense. Okay, you don't need the data or the facts to prove it, but data is also available. Outbound transportation cost, here we are talking about from the warehouse to the customer. When you are near to the customer, these outbound transportation cost is expected to be less. The systems cost may be higher since we are going to have more number of warehouses. Okay. Now let us see the trends affecting the warehouse. Huge impact due to e-commerce. You may see that the e-commerce is going to be the future. There are a lot of organizations jumping into the e-commerce, and you may see also the pressure is coming to convert this e-commerce to quick commerce, q-commerce, and we are also seeing more number of fulfillment center, a return processing facility. This is also going to provide lot of business opportunity apart from employment opportunities, closer to consumer or near shoring. Sustainability with having their own means of power generation, maybe solar panels or wind energy, is a option which many of organization are exploring. And apart from that, converting waste into power is also one option open to them, because that requirement is going to become a major factor when customer is going to select a particular vendor for placing the order. Sustainability is going to be a important thing. Coming to the growth of e-fulfillment center and its impact, the challenges are significantly impacted by seasonality. Okay, so there will be idling of product, wide range of products lying in the warehouse, low value single item order. This is one of the important thing for e-commerce platform. They will be dealing with the low value, small weight item, and the frequent delivery kind of a thing. And of course, customer are also looking for on time delivery. Okay, anyone of you watching live, you can always comment in the chat box if you need any doubts or clarification. Then inventory management, managing the slow moving and obsolete item is essential to optimize the inventory, but more importantly, making sure that the necessary items are available. Okay, and large percentage of returns, especially in the e-commerce environment, it goes up to 30 to 40%. So you need a separate warehouse, the team, and the process for managing returns, because you cannot simply get this item and put it back into the stock. Maybe you have to verify the quality, and possibly you may have to do some of the process like repairing, refurbishing, and then put it back into the stock. So that's one more challenge. Next day delivery. Now even we are not even talking next day delivery. We are talking about next hour delivery, which is going to be a big concern in the coming days and weeks of the month. There are also some special warehouses apart from regular warehouses. Maybe if you are in a pharmaceutical or perishable item, you know the climatic condition, the warehouse, especially the hygiene, safety, traceability related factors are there. Then such kind of operational warehouse, you need a special knowledge. Okay, you need a special knowledge. That's where refrigerated warehouse comes into play, where you are supposed to maintain at a particular temperature, so you are going to consume the power, and how in such situation you are going to optimize the cost, especially edible item or food item and pharmaceutical item. They need to retain the freshness. In such case, you may face the requirements of energy management and plant maintenance. So these are special kind of operation, not a regular kind of a warehouse. Traceability is important in finance, pharmaceutical sector. So this is where you need to know some of the technology for tracking or tracing, like maybe barcoding or RFID may be helpful. Health and safety issue is of big concern in operating refrigerated warehouse. So with this, we are coming to the conclusion of today's session. I hope more and more people will watch this video, like it, comment it, and share this video so that more and more people engage this and benefit out of this program. As I was telling in the introduction, we do a lot of program. One of our globally recognized program is on supply chain analytics. This is where most of the employers are looking for additional skill from the supply chain executive apart from domain knowledge. And if you are looking for a job in global organization or MNC, you need some global certification like APIX. You can Google up all this and see what are they. You are always welcome to check in our website. We have both the live and the self-paced program. If you need any doubts or clarification, career guidance, you are always welcome to reach me or our team in this numbers, WhatsApp number. So thanks for watching this video. If you have any comments, you can always comment. On the other hand, if you like it, please like and share this video so that more people benefit out of this program. Thank you. Bye.